Action Podcast with your hosts, Chris Carson and DC and Shama.
Welcome to Space Action Podcast, a division of Space Action Heroes, a webcomic you can find at spaceactionheroes.com. I am Chris Carson.
I'm DC and Shama.
And this week we are going to talk, we're really late on it, but we're about a month late, but that's my fault. But we're going to talk about Bird Box.
Where are you? Please don't take my children. Please don't take my children!
So, Bird Box is a Netflix original movie.
Based on a book.
Based on a book. I didn't know that going into it, but I learned that subsequently later. Kind of felt like A Quiet Place meets The Happening meets...
Trying to do the commentary of Get Out.
Yeah, kinda.
Like trying to have some sort of salient commentary.
A lot of religious shit. Like they literally ended up in heaven at the end. The well, not literally, figuratively ended up in heaven at the end and released. Why were they carrying those little birds with them in that box for the whole time?
I thought they were like canaries, man. They could sense evil.
Yeah, but they would have died in that little box.
They were feeding them
on the river, River Wild.
Sandra Bullock is very capable of keeping birds alive in tiny boxes.
That was the other thing. It also meets the River Wild.
Oh shit! Yes, it was. Yeah.
But so for those of you who don't know, Bird Box is about a happening that occurs where people just see something and it causes them to go crazy and kill themselves. It causes crazy people to embrace the craziness. It kind of felt like it was a bit of a... because it started in Russia, and I don't know if I was reading too much into it because it didn't seem like there was actually a lot to read into it.
No.
But it felt like maybe it was a commentary on just the world, the interconnectivity of the world is making us see what it really is. Like, people are starting to understand their iPhones are made by children mining minerals and people in suicide nets, and it's driving us all a little crazy. Mm-hmm. And maybe that was sort of the overall theme of it, was that seeing reality drives you crazy.
It's
maybe
definitely rooted. But the way I interpret it is that you have this thing that we don't really see, and when you look at it, this thing, it polarizes you, makes you extremely aggravated, and just makes you want to kill anyone who might have an opposing view. I'm like, okay, so it's smartphone technology,
right?
It sounds
that's
like
the crazy view, and then everyone's just killed themselves. The majority of people just fucking killed themselves.
Most people would kill themselves, but I don't know. That to me was just like, we need something shocking for this thing to make you do. So let's just rip off The Happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of happening going on.
But at least they weren't as stupid as like The Happening, like sticking yourself to a fucking tiger
or lay down in front of a lawnmower.
I don't mean to bust M. Night's balls 2 weeks in a row, but fuck him.
I want to quickly interject and say I remember an interview with M. Night Shyamalan about The Happening. This is going to end up being 2 weeks of fucking shitting on Shatapon.
What? No.
No, we're not. He was like, we really had to tone it down because we were going for an R, but there's some things in the imagery in here that just made my skin crawl. Like, there's this... Like, when we were filming it, there's a scene with a woman in a knitting needle. I won't tell you anymore because I want you to see my movie. And it's like, really? The scene where the woman just sticks a knitting needle in her neck was one of the most insane things you'd ever shot in your career, you fucking hack.
Yeah, seriously.
Sorry, M. Night. Not really. Get a haircut.
But at least they didn't... At least they didn't pull that shit in this one. I like the way, what's her face, Sarah Paulson. Oh, also in Sport.
Hey, yeah.
Also in fucking, what do you call it? Bird Box and Glass.
She's from American Horror Story, right?
Yes.
I've never seen it, but yeah.
Just hops in front of a fucking truck. That, I thought was like, there you go. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Like, people would just, like, start going in front of dressers and tipping them on themselves.
They were just trying to kill them. So, like, that was the biggest problem, was that what the monsters were was so unclear. Like, you needed at least... You needed something more than some conspiracy theory writer talking about how they're like old gods from Mesopotamia or whatever he was talking about.
Lil Ray Howery literally doing the exact same role he had in Get Out, being like, I'm the guy who knows a bunch of shit. Yeah. Here's what's going to happen in the next third of the movie.
Yeah, it really was. But they needed something. They needed some cue to the audience as to what these things were and how they affected us.
Because it didn't really feel like, oh, we're showing you less is more. It just felt like we didn't come up with anything.
Yeah, it felt like we have a metaphor to tell and we're going to not bother to actually link it to a real event. We're just going to use the almost like the villain was a metaphor. It was, but the metaphor needs to be a thing, right? Yeah. Like Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. The birds are birds. Like, we know they're birds. I don't know. So it just ended up being all kind of confusing and kind of.
Like, things I held it together, dude. I did like the cast. I love Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, she was.
I
Really,
hate to admit,
don't
but
typically like her, but she was really good in this.
it just proves like because I watched Speed over the holidays came on.
Mm-hmm.
I love Gravity. I saw it in IMAX 3D.
Yeah, me too. I think that's the thing.
Yes, you have to see it in IMAX 3D, otherwise.
Or else.
And between this movie and for 3 out of 3, man, you put her in a strenuous journey. Like she has to go to point A to B, and there's a bunch of shit she has to do.
Yeah,
she's so good at just being like
Sarah Connery her way through the damn events.
That part where she has the blindfold on and she's going into the house and she has that line and the girl starts to wander out of the boat. I'm like, ooh, Sandra Bullock gonna get mad at that girl.
I will hurt you.
Yes.
I will hurt you.
Yes. She's so good, and the way she says like, boy, girl, I'm like,
Girl.
she's not even acting. Like, she refused to give these children names. She is hard as a coffin nail.
Moments like that felt, again, a little Shyamalan-y, where it's like, I get it, she doesn't want to attach herself to these kids emotionally. She's gonna name them boy and girl.
Even Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill.
Like,
you know what bugged
been,
me?
you know,
The dude that she ends up with, the black guy who was in the cabin with them at the end, his facial hair doesn't change over 5 years. That bugged the shit out of me. I was like, why couldn't you have just cut his beard off or made him grow it out even more? Clearly, you guys shot this over a fucking weekend. Like,
I forgot the kids grow up, you're right.
Yeah, he has the exact same shave lines.
I haven't changed my facial hair, and like, it's a black guy thing, Carson. You just don't get it.
Even if you kept the same style, there would be subtle differences over 5 years.
Yo, motherfucker, black don't crack. No matter what. All right.
Your razor would slip a little more at that time and make a little shallower of a no mustache but beard look.
I just love that no one's gonna notice.
No one's gonna. As soon as
I got a razor, man. I can just shave right now. No one's
gonna notice.
going to notice.
The second it showed him with the kids, I was like, "Fuck you!" Who's in charge of your makeup department? Just cut his beard.
I'm trying to think who else was good. I like Malkovich in it.
Malkovich was great.
Malkovich just doing his Malkovich thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna drink and be a dick.
Yeah. Was the point of the movie that being a dick is a good thing then?
Kinda. He was the best guy in that movie. Like
her threatening to beat the children is what kept them alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the moral of that movie was just like, listen, sometimes to survive the apocalypse, you gotta be like, fuck you. Like,
I'm curious to read the book. If the book actually thematically goes into anything more in depth, or if it's just going to be, is it a shot for shot? I don't know.
I listened to the Directors Guild has a podcast where they have other directors interview directors, and Suzanne Beer was on. Or Beyer, I forget her name.
Was this directed by a lady?
By a lady. She talked about, she stayed pretty close to the book, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
She was just like, I want to do the book or the movie, not at all. Because there was originally a version kicking around where they wanted to change stuff, and she's like, no. So I think like it's pretty similar.
From that perspective, like having completely allegorous monsters, is that even a word?
Yeah.
With no physical form, shape, and a laundry list of things they can do without any real rules. I almost think that would work better in a novel because you can kind of use your imagination to fill in the blanks. But I just was so frustrated by the end. I was like, what are these things? Give us some indication. You can't take the word of just a dude. Because he doesn't know. He's just guessing what these things are. You need someone with authority of over the matter.
Could have been
some
a newscast.
An old priest or something.
Yeah.
Like someone who's studied these things.
Shit, show me a newspaper headline, man.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, how fucking hard did you laugh when fucking Dr. Wu whacked his head off a table and killed himself?
It took me a minute. I was like, is that Dr. Wu? I was like, that's a gay Dr. Wu.
Henry, get the fuck... Come on, a gay Dr. Wu? You mean Dr. Wu?
You mean Dr. Wu? I was genuinely surprised that he was actually kind of acting.
Yeah.
Because in the Jurassic Worlds, he's just like, he's ridiculous.
He's like a cartoon character.
He's like a cartoon character.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, why are you smiling? Stop that.
Oh, if these things looked like how they actually are supposed to look, they'd be quite different, Mr. Mizrani. What the fuck? Why would you... hole did you drag him out of? What NCIS did you drag him out of?
What happened to your subtle nods? Your subtle velociraptor nods?
pencil.
Yeah, to breed.
Breed.
Come on, man. Roll it back. Dial it back, BD.
He's a younger man then.
Dial it back.
But see, that's the thing. That was another part where I was like, okay, so if you see these creatures over a video, they fuck you up. So are these supposed to be... Is this religious? Because they do kind of end up in heaven at the end. They finally get to where the signal's coming from, travel down the river, Sarah Connor. Sarah Connor. What's her fucking name?
Sandra Bullock?
Sandra Bullock and the kids.
Does she have a shotgun? She's a gun.
She has a gun, and then the guy who's like, "Come swim with me," and comes into the water, knocks the gun out of her hand. But
I love how your version just sounds like a Sesame Street Muppet. the kids are like, he sounds fun.
Yeah. Let's go play with him. But he sees the creature over the... Wait, where was I? What the fuck was I even talking about? Oh yeah, they literally end up in heaven at the end. So were these creatures the devil? Was it just supposed to be sin? Like, I honestly don't know. And it's not the kind of... Like, I'm all for art invoking conversation, but this is just confusion.
Yeah.
And there's a fine line between conversation and confusion.
Sure.
And this one's just confusion.
It feels like just laziness. It really just felt like this is such a broad concept. We don't know how to...
out.
Yeah, we don't know how to fucking personify. We don't want to cheapen it too much.
It feels like they didn't actually have like a Bible, a script Bible with what these things are written down.
I love the idea of just like... if you take the movie and turn it into a person, it's that guy who tries to bullshit his fucking way through by like anything by being sly. Like, what is it? Come on, dude, tell me what is it? Oh, you know what it is. You don't gotta ask me. You know what those monsters are. Just tell me what they are, dude. This guy.
You know.
Fuck off, man. Just fuck off.
You don't know, do you?
Look, she's in heaven. She's the Indian doctor's back. Fuck off.
You let the birds go. The birds survive.
Yeah,
Those
right.
4 birds crammed in that little fucking box survive.
She fell down a lot while she was holding that box. Like, one of those birds would be dead.
Yeah, it would be. And then the crazy guy they let into the house, that the hashtag fat shaming other pregnant girl lets in the house because
When did that happen? What does he do?
the other crazy dude who comes in and murders everyone. Remember?
But what does he fat shame?
Oh no, I'm fat shaming.
I was like, hey there, you porky bitch! How you doing, Miss Piggy? Like, I was like, I don't remember that at all.
I think for my body frame, I'm technically medically obese, so I'm allowed to fat shame.
Okay.
But
I was just like, I don't remember that.
no,
at all.
the chubby dopey girl who's like, I've been like coddled my whole life. I don't know how to do anything.
She was unbearable.
She was unbearable. She was
could not
like
stand that character.
She was like the exact same character as in the new Star Trek show. And basically, just this bubbly moron. But anyways, she lets him in, and he's able to kind of compose himself enough to appear normal because his eyes didn't turn the way everyone else did, but everyone else's do. Even the crazy people at the end.
There was a moment where they were like, I remember he was on the ground. Malkovich or Sandra Bullock had the shotgun. And I can't remember. There was something he did to convince them, but you're right. But no, you're absolutely right. I'm like, no, he's still possessed ultimately.
Yeah.
He's got spooky drawings.
So what's the level? Like, how come some people can pretend to be normal?
Maybe it's how crazy you are. Maybe if you're someone who draws spooky drawings, you can conceal it really well.
That's hashtag mental health shaming, DC.
It is. It really is.
Well, so where's the crazy cutoff? Like, is someone with OCD gonna kill themselves, but someone with OCD to the point that they have to cut 4 lines in their hand every day gonna survive seeing these creatures? Like, where's the cutoff?
Well,
What's right there, man?
this guy always with the questions.
Yeah, so many questions.
Fuck you. Look, it's that guy from Predators. You like him?
Get a dictionary, why don't you?
Malkovich is a dick, huh?
So it didn't. There was like, I liked it more before I started talking about it. To be honest with you, and
It
now,
really falls apart when you start to fucking just think about it.
because you're the first person I've actually talked to about Bird Box. I remember watching it, I was like, that was all right.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, what the fuck?
I watched it on the train New Year's morning coming back.
Yeah, Unbreakable should have been watched on the train.
I could have. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That would have been fun. I'd be like halfway between hoping this train crashes and praying to God it doesn't. Because like I'd be like, oh, if I turn out to be, maybe I'll turn out to be a fucking superhero. I watched Bird Box, and I think that's part of it because I was watching it and I'm very uncomfortable and trying to just watch movies to pass the time or I sleep. So I'm watching this movie. I took like the 8 a.m. and I just remember just like analyzing the shit out of it because I smoked a bowl before I got on, just being like, fuck this, fuck all of this. This is ridiculous. Malkovich is great, but fuck the rest of this movie.
And all the tension was always evaporating because of the time jumps.
Yes. Yeah, that drove me
It should
goddamn
have
nuts.
just been a linear story.
Which brings me to my next point, which is after I started reading about it, a lot of people are like, well, if you want to compare it to a film that did it really expertly well, you should watch The Road.
They're gonna catch up with us. They're gonna catch up with us, and they're going to kill us.
reaching the coast. I told you I would do whatever it takes.
Like what? Like what?
Kill anyone who touches you, because that's my job.
So I popped in the road. I looked that up. 10 years old. Actually, that's
I guess there's the connection of an adult with a child, but there's no magic monsters in the road.
No magic monsters unless you count cannibals and rapists and psychopaths.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I was like, I could see what they were trying to go for, except for, again, the time jumps. I don't know what they were lumping in there.
Yeah, all the flash arounds.
But the road, holy the fuck, dude. It's like an art house version of Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh yeah, it's the guy who wrote it. He did No Country for Old Men, and he's the guy who uses almost no punctuation.
Joe
so it's
Penhall?
almost like one long sentence.
Joe Penhall?
Is that who it is?
Oh, good question.
Oh no, it's Cormac McCarthy.
You
I
vamped for a
believe.
bit.
I think it's Cormac McCarthy. I believe.
Based on the book.
Yeah. The book. And the book's great. I remember reading the book before I saw the movie. And if you read the book and then see the movie, the movie's a little more disappointing than the book.
Oh, sure. I imagine so.
But, yeah, the road's great. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I'll let you take the lead.
Yeah, so it's a bad dude and his son. They're left in this post-apocalyptic world. They never explain what's going on. The closest explanation you get is just bright flashes on the horizon, cut to modern times, and the world's just shit. Even when they do the flashbacks when Charlize Theron's still alive and it's his wife.
She is in that.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Because she can't just get out of a post-apocalyptic
No.
world, that woman. She's the only one who can fucking survive because she's the Imperator, goddammit. Until she wanders off into the woods and kills herself.
Is that what she does?
Yeah, there's the way she dies. The reason why it's just him and this kid is that she's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm pregnant. Are we seriously going to bring a child into this world?
Into this horrible world.
And there's
yeah.
a scene where they're sitting at a dinner table talking. He's like 4 years old, sitting over there, and she's like, she has a gun. She's like, if I go, I'm taking him with me. Like,
I don't remember this at all.
She's like, I don't want him to be in this world. It's terrible. So it comes to a point where the kid's like, a little bit older, and she's standing in a doorway, and she's like, I'm gonna go. And it's like shitting snow, and she's in a tank top. And he's like, no, don't do this, please don't. She's just like, I'm going, and she just walks off into these dark woods, and that's how she kills herself.
Yeah, because she's not in the book at all.
Oh, not at all.
The book is 100% just the father and his son on the story.
Okay,
and there's a
okay.
few like memories. He's like, the man remembered his wife.
Well, there you go. So, cut to modern times after this apocalypse. It's just beautiful how dark and bleak this movie is.
So fucking bleak.
I've never seen an apocalypse portrayed so beautifully. Like, what I love about Fury Road, another one of my favorite post-apocalyptic movies, it looks like someone cranked the saturation and the contrast way up. So it's almost unbearable. This one, it's like this murky brown puddle.
I think the idea was that volcanoes erupted.
Was that what it
That's why
was?
the sun's blocked out and there's always ash everywhere.
I thought if you assumed like a nuclear fallout 2 could have done it.
I know that the author, Cormac McCarthy, said we didn't do it. It was a natural
A
event.
natural disaster.
You'd probably have to go down a rabbit hole of reading every interview to find out if he ever actually said volcano, but that's what I
would make a lot of sense.
believe it was.
There's this one scene where it just punches you in the gut because we're on a planet that's 80% water. At one point, he's looking at a map of because they're in northeast. They're in like essentially northeast North America, I think, like somewhere in like Boston or whatever. Anyways, doesn't matter. And he's pointing to the ocean. He's like, "That's the ocean." And he's like, his son's like, "Is it blue like in the map?" And he's like, "We'll see when we get there." Imagine like PEI or Vancouver on a foggy day where you can barely see the horizon, but it's brown.
It's just all
and there's
dead
shit
and
just
brown.
floating out of the water,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh my god, the world is 100% a disaster.
Just
There's
over.
There's no salvation anywhere. So the whole premise is just him trying to keep this kid alive. They have a shopping cart full of their shit, a gun with 2 shots in it. I think the first gang they encounter is just this crew of they roll up in like this Peterbilt. Just these psychopaths with
They're
like
just
guns.
the crazy ones.
Yeah.
And then the cannibals, they accidentally go into their house.
Oh
yeah.
God!
That
One of the
was
most
fucked up.
traumatizing
Yeah.
scenes I have ever seen. So,
In the
anyways,
book, that's made me want to throw up.
oh, in the movie, it's effectively done
Yeah.
too. Jesus Christ! Like I'm consider myself a pretty well seasoned horror dude, and seen some fucked up real images on the internet. That chilled me to the
Yeah,
bone.
it was gross.
But I'll get to it.
We're getting there.
It was like the way they just played out, like how realistic the apocalypse was. It's not going to be flamethrower guitars. It's not going to be like people shooting, going nuts. No. It's just like
It's going to be basically 10,000 years ago again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just going from town to town. If you see a figure on the horizon, it could be life or death.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what to do.
Exactly.
There's a scene where, no, it's not Ed Harris, it's the other dude from The Godfather, Robert Duvall.
Oh, yeah, he's there too.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I
people.
gotta watch this again.
I was surprised how many fucking people were in it. My boy, what's his name? He's hold on. Michael Kenneth Williams. Him. He's the black guy that steals their shit and they leave him naked at the end.
Oh, I gotta watch this again.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so many people are in it.
I think I watched it the year it came out.
So it's literally 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's worth revisiting, dude. It's really well done. I just love how, like, again, it's like an art house Fury Road, so it's like not about the spectacle of it. It's like, dude,
It's
we
about
have
the horror, the terror.
It's the terror of, like, just how empty everything is,
Yeah.
like how bleak everything, how so much shit is crucial, like just having a Coke with your son, like that is like a day.
I remember that scene now because I remember my reaction to it was, oh man, that kid is going to be sick. He's never had carbonated sugar in his life.
I thought the same thing. I was like, this kid's gonna be bouncing off the walls and puking in about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
He's been drinking like somewhat pure water, not even like for how long?
Well, I think that happened in Bird Box too. They found Twinkies or something. I was like, those kids are gonna be so sick.
They're gonna have a fucking headache.
They're gonna have diarrhea so badly. Jesus.
But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was the complete like in terms of like just having a theme, keeping it simple. There's no fat in that movie.
Oh no.
There's a lot of Viggo
do
Mortensen's
remember,
fucking ass.
Yeah, there is, isn't there? And then in Eastern Promises,
He loves showing off his ass. I think Lord of the Rings might be the only time he hasn't whipped his taint out.
whipped his dick out too. Was it Eastern Promises or the other one where he got
History of Violence?
the towel fight? I think it was Eastern Promises.
I'm apprehensive about that fucking Green Book movie because if I had to see fat Viggo Mortensen naked, that would just.
It seems like the consensus I'm getting from everyone is it's like a grandma movie.
Yeah, it's clearly
isn't
driving
that
Miss Daisy, but
nice.
with a fucking like role reversal. That's all it is.
But it's
clearly.
all sweet and saccharine.
I don't
and
care.
just...
It's got Ali in it, and that nigga is awesome. Love that man. I dug The Road. I highly recommend if you haven't seen Bird Box, watch The Road. If you saw Bird Box and were disappointed, watch The Road.
And also on the vein of these type of movies, I watched after Bird Box. I watched A Quiet Place.
Who are we if we can't protect them? We have to protect them.
Reference to last week's podcast. Tune in. AKA John Krasinski makes a career out of acting with his eyes again.
And and put his wife in it. I'm just going to quickly because I don't want to deep dive on A Quiet Place. I just didn't like it. I thought it was lame. My biggest complaint was that I get that it was supposed to be the father was tinkering with her hearing aid and trying different frequencies, but ultimately these giant ear monsters noises they made causes feedback, and the feedback signal kills them. No one figured this out when you're invaded by a hearing monster.
No one saw Mars Attacks. Like, just crank some bad, like fucking yodeling music. You could blow their heads up.
I actually thought about that while watching it. It was Mars Attacks, and it ends like a Grindhouse movie where the wife's like.
The ending is definitely
get your signal on.
It's definitely a left turn. That ending. It's supposed to be just jarring as fuck.
But it jars into like Robert Rodriguez territory. It's like Planet Terror or something in the last 2 seconds.
Totally.
Like, what the fuck is going on? So I didn't really dig it. I thought, again, much like Bird Box, the rules were all over the place. Like, why do they have to be so quiet? Like, why were they using felt on a game, but they could whisper to each other? Like, in the basement, what decibel of noise attracted them was constantly changing.
Right.
I know that's kind of a nitpick, but when your entire premise is based around monsters that hear good, then if they can hear a scuttling raccoon, but they can't hear them walking through the woods, it's very odd.
Well, they were using sand to walk through the woods.
They used sand on the path, but they would go off path sometimes. It's like, okay.
I have to rewatch. I saw it the once in theaters.
And then they couldn't whisper. Like, if they were able to, like, in a basement, they couldn't whisper. They couldn't whisper to each other.
Yeah, like that house. There's no way you'd be able to stay in a wooden house. That thing's constantly shifting,
creaking and creaking.
Yeah.
So it all like what decibel these things attack on was so convoluted.
Fair.
It's like you can scream next to a waterfall, but you can't whisper in a basement.
In terms of just like reinventing the wheel, man, I thought it was a cool way of building tension that no one's thought of before. Like you just can you imagine a horror movie where you just have to be quiet, otherwise like, that's tension already.
Wait, wasn't that a horror movie recently where it was a blind guy?
Oh, we just watched that at my sister's. Oh my god, fuck, what's it called? Oh, we just watched it. It's almost like.
Is it better than A Quiet Place?
I don't know if you'll like it because there's a specific moment in that movie where you're just like, oh, fuck off.
Really?
Are you serious? We're going there.
I probably will never watch it. What's the moment?
Oh,
spoilers, guys. Spoilers.
Me, my brother and sister and my husband, we watched it over the holidays. We were dying, fucking dying, dude. So the whole premise is that these three shithead kids are okay.
Break into a blind guy's house.
Let me bookmark. Where were we with Quiet Place?
I think we were at me no likey Quiet Place.
Okay, so in terms of this building tension, I'm going to bookmark that. So the whole concept of the movie, I'm going to look up deaf guy movie horror.
Was it called Shush or something?
It was literally called Don't Breathe.
Don't breathe. Don't breathe. It's a Stefani song.
Don't know what you're stealing. The shit that's in my basement.
It's really good shit.
Oh! Alright, anyways, so this motherfucker is a war vet or something, and basically, someone killed his daughter. I think hit her with a car.
Okay.
Or some such, right?
And it blinded him with grief.
No, I think he lost his sight in the war. I forget. So anyways, they're going through his house, and they go to the basement, and sure enough, there's the big reveal that he has this crazy elaborate basement with, surprise, surprise, the woman driving the car in a harness. And you
keeping her alive?
You find out he's going to impregnate her. Ooh. She gets killed, and he's like, my baby, my baby. And you're like, why is he mourning the death of this woman who killed his daughter? So the girl of the group, the three kids, gets kidnapped, and she wakes up, surprise, in the fucking same harness. And he's like, well, you know, she was my baby. She took away my daughter, so I gave her a child. And that was going to replace the daughter that she owed me. Because he's supposed to be, like, he has an accent, so they kind of implicate he's a crazy old European, ex-military gulag guy who's just like, you owe me child, I put child in you. So anyways, he opens up the freezer and pulls out this, like, vial of cum, and then fucking pulls out a turkey baster and fills it, and it's, like, dripping cum, and we're watching it like, oh! Ah!
Years and years of cum. You know, it dies pretty quickly, even in a fridge.
I think it had, like, some sort of, like, preservative. Like, look, there's a coolant in it, so it's like this green cum.
He pickled
so
it?
He pickles his fucking cum. We're all dying. I'm like, as if they have the balls to put this in the movie. So he's cutting up her panties, and he's about to, like, ram it in. So sure enough, guy rescues her. You can see where this is going. She breaks free, grabs the baster, jams it down the dude's throat, and squeezes it. And he's coughing up his own cum everywhere.
This sounds atrocious.
We were clapping. We were like, this is, oh my, as if you fucking did that. Like,
yeah, I guess getting a role in Avatar didn't do much for him. He's doing these movies. That's ridiculous.
He's flipping through the script. He's like, and then she crams, motherfucker.
Turkey baster of my own cum. Well, that's what the kids are into these days. Is this like the Tide Pod challenge?
That's so funniest fucking thing I've ever seen.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, it was great. It was a good old time. I highly recommend it.
What did you have to say about the suspense of A Quiet Place?
It was kind of ingenious of just the idea of like, listen, I don't think anyone's really done this before, of just like, if someone goes, you shit your pants. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ, they just fucking tipped over a glass.
Sound.
Oh, and now, like, there's at least a good 15 seconds you can milk out of that, everyone going,
yep.
Like, I saw it in
I'm just not sure if that's sustainable for 2 hours.
It's a good, listen, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it does a good movie make. Not necessarily. It's a good idea. I'm trying to think of other good, like, just classic Hitchcockian horror moments of just like, oh, getting stabbed in the shower. That'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
Dude, falling in a grain elevator and sinking?
Yeah,
that's fucking horrifying. That scared the shit out of me.
I guess, I mean, this, like, people really like this movie, so I'm not gonna say it's anything more than my personal taste, because it was well done. It did feel like someone's first film.
Oh, yeah.
Which is exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It had a lot of blemishes on it, but it was still fine. I just thought it was stupid.
The one moment I thought was just like you directed the shit out of that. That's a cool fucking idea and everything. Was I think that Harvest Moon song. I hate that song. That Neil. I can't stand that song. I always hate it because in that specific recording, every time he says "Under This Harvest Moon," the audience applauds every time. It's like, guys, yes, you've heard the song.
Oh, they were listening to it on their earbuds. Yeah,
and just that moment,
my eyes glazed over a bit during this movie. But yeah, I remember now.
Because I'm a music nerd, and I just love the idea that what's so unique about music is that about it being performed live, about listening to it, how unifying it is that you play one song, 10 people have 1,000 different memories simultaneously. And just the idea of like in a place where people can't communicate with words, we can just share this song together and we're both thinking the exact same thing and they just dance together. I thought that was a beautiful moment. Conceptually, I just love how he crafted that.
But then they use that song.
And then they use that fucking but it made me like that song ever since that movie.
Really?
I kind of like that song.
Kind of brought you back to
it. No, so I have to admit, like, that was just a cool moment. Like the grain elevator scene, that was a cool idea. I will agree that I heard this one interesting theory. It's a great podcast I listened to called Still Processing with Jenna Wortham and why can't I remember his fucking name? They say Wesley Morris. They're two black writers for the New York Times, and their perspective was like, isn't it interesting that we have this movie where there's a bunch of white people who are afraid to make any sort of noise lest they be persecuted by a bunch of brown things that just immediately snap them out of reality and make them go.
You think there was that depth to it?
And he was like, wouldn't it be interesting if this was a commentary or a dissension on Black Lives Matter? I'm like, holy shit.
A dissension on it. Oh.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just being like, isn't it kind of lame that, black people are entitled to having their opinion and we can just, as white people, be snatched out of reality? I'm like, that's reading a bit into it, but that's a cool angle.
That's a really cool angle to start with, but I think, like, it's to start a movie with, but I think A Quiet Place was just, hey man, what if some monsters and you couldn't make noises?
I can't see John Krasinski sitting there watching, like, Black Lives Matter protests being like, fuck these niggers.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that they know what I feel.
What was that, John? I said, boy, your role's gonna be bigger.
Way bigger.
Don't worry, baby.
Every fucking time he looked at the camera in the office, I knew behind those eyes lurked the mind of a monster.
I was like, yeah, what was the name of the one black guy in the office? This the whole time he's like, look at him. Affirmative blaction over here.
Affirmative blaction. That's hilarious. That's as good as non-traversy, which is just now how everyone gets furious about everything. It's a non-traversy.
Oh, that's good. I like that. I don't think I could take credit for affirmative blaction.
I can't take credit for non-traversy.
That's a popular slur amongst fucking racist white people.
Affirmative blaction. That's hilarious. It's adorable. It's like something a little kid would say. Like mispronouncing action.
Dude, we had other apocalypse. What was it?
Oh wait, no. I want to veer left field here, and this podcast is going to take a weird turn, and maybe I'll make it a surprise, or maybe I'll say in the description that we end up talking about this. But I saw Aquaman.
Your half-brother King Orm is about to declare war upon the surface world. The only way to stop this war is for you to take your rightful place as king.
Trust me, I am no king.
You do your best thinking when you're not thinking at all.
That was the worst pep talk ever.
Oh, yeah. You had a fucking ace in the hole. Look at you.
Yeah, Aquaman, it transcends so bad it was good and becomes so unfathomably fucking awful. It's amazing. I watched the whole movie with just this giant grin being like, this is so awesomely bad. It was bad the way bad movies should be bad. Like, when someone makes something like Sharknado, they're going, let's make a bad movie. That's not a good bad movie. That's someone fucking around with the formula in order to get people to go, ooh, this is a bad movie. You can tell that James Wan put every ounce of love into making and crafting this thing, that he spent a year in pre-production. Like, you could tell everyone tried so hard, and it's so awful. I loved it. I gave it 5 fucking stars on the Letterboxd app. It was amazing. I will watch it 10 more times. It's like,
the fuck out.
It's like watching Plan 9 from Outer Space. It's so honestly bad that it transcends to amazing.
Interesting.
It's so good.
That is an interesting show. So should I go in theaters? Is it worth going in theaters, or should I just wait till it comes out on video?
The 3D is really cool.
I can't stand 3D.
But like this thing was designed from the ground up, so there's all these shots of like, there's one shot where they have to go to the Marianas Trench, because the whole idea, the plot is that the plot's ridiculous. It's like 2 movies worth of plot, because there's Black Manta, who's his arch enemy, and his brother Orm, I believe he's called, trying to take over Atlantis.
Patrick Wilson, right?
Yeah,
He won my love after Fargo season 2.
he was hamming it up so amazingly
You
well.
remember his last outgoing as fucking Night Owl. He's not great in comic book movies.
No, he was amazing. Like, his hamming it up was perfect.
Oh!
Like, he was actually like, "Rise, Atlantis!" And it was like so over the top. He's like, "You nailed this. You were having so much fun with it."
So it's almost like supposed to be a bad B movie. It seems
yeah,
like.
but it's I think it's supposed to be an effects heavy badass movie, but was crafted with such love that it becomes a B movie. A good B movie.
Compare it to like an other pre-existing film that I would know, like Temple of Doom.
Yeah, Temple of Doom's not bad. Where it's like they earnestly are trying to create awesomeness, but it's so bad it's great.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that. It's weird because it is like a globetrotting adventure film, but it's a CGI bonanza. It literally, like, I'm not going to spoil anything because you should see it, but there's nothing to spoil. It's not like that type of movie.
Everyone just keeps comparing it to Black Panther, so I kind of have a rough idea of what the plot is, like in terms of like he wants the throne and he has to combat for the throne, then he has to earn the throne.
I guess
and
on
such
that,
and
yeah, there's a bit there, but
I'm not going for the plot.
Yeah, no, but there's just a moment at the end. All I'll say is there's a moment during the final giant battle where crab people show up and they're like, "You're not going to defeat us!" And I saw the movie with Sam and I actually was like, "Yeah!" And made such like a squealing little kid and noise of like, "There's talking."
Did Trey
people.
Parker and Matt Stone sue for copyright infringement?
They
Like,
should've.
oh my god!
There's fucking dinosaurs in this movie. That's all I'll say. It's so bad. Like, this
So
is the thing.
it seems like they were like, listen,
We're gonna go crazy.
yeah, like the Snyder Darkverse is not working.
We're going beyond Marvel. We're going to just in like pure unfiltered schlock. And the thing is, like, you have to be. I think you have to be in the right mood for it because you might watch it and be like, "This is just terrible." What's
See,
he
that's why
talking
I'm
about?
being very trepidatious about listening to your opinion right now. Because if I go in and be like, "All right, I'm going to enjoy this," I'm likely going to fucking hate it. Yeah.
Like, go in thinking you're going to hate it, and I think it'll transcend because it is. It does meets all my criteria for so bad it's good.
Because my only problem when I saw the trailers, it just visually looks like a clusterfuck. Like when there was just waves of armored sharks coming, I'm like, I can't see what's going on.
That's why the 3D actually works for this movie. Much like this falls into, I think, oddly enough, that Aquaman falls into like Gravity in terms of the necessity of the 3D, because there's just moments where you're like, the screen is full of stuff, but everything's layered.
That makes sense.
You can kind of see like through things. But when you see it in 2D, I watched the trailer after I saw the movie. I was like, this looks like a clusterfuck.
Yeah,
I can't
okay.
make anything out.
Okay.
But you want to see it in like ultra AVX, high end 3D. You don't want to see it in some shitty, washed out 3D theater. You want to see it.
You know what? You just remind me. I have a fucking free scene movie, so I don't have to pay to see this fucking thing.
Yeah.
Aha!
No, you might. Don't get me wrong. You might be 20 minutes in and going, "Fuck Chris Carson."
Yeah.
But it flicked.
I anticipate that text.
It flicked me right.
I'm not a Jason Momoa fan.
No, he's terrible, but he's so bad. It's like watching William Shatner. It's like gets to that level where you're like, you're so terrible.
But there's something endearing about Shatner. I can't stand his
Yeah.
like his over the top like, I'm a bro, dude, redheads. I'm like, okay.
Oh, and Amber Heard is just atrocious, and their interactions are just atrocious. But again, talking crab people. There's an octopus playing drums. I don't know how else to sell this thing. It's so neat. It's the perfect Chris Carson movie because it feels like an Ed Wood. If Ed Wood was alive in the 21st century, this would be the movie he made.
Isn't that what Tim Burton does?
No, because Tim Burton's just gone bad. He just sucks. His movies are just terrible.
There's no inspiration in there.
Right. This is so stupid that you're like it's like watching this is the cinematic equivalent of watching someone fall down and laughing. You're like, that's objectively not funny. There's no writing or like panache or nuance to it, but it made me laugh to see that guy fall on his face. That's Aquaman.
They had the cast and James Wan on Conan O'Brien when we went to Comic-Con this year.
Okay, yeah.
And James Wan just seems like a kid you'd see at, like, I'm gonna date myself, at a mindless self-indulgence concert.
Yeah.
Like, he's this tiny little peppy dude with, like, bright pink hair that sticks up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this sounds like the type of movie that fucker would make. Like, everybody ready?
Yeah.
Aquaman, guys! You guys ready? Woo!
It's like the whole time I just had a smile on my face.
So what do you think of James? Octopus, drums, do it!
And the music I'm pretty sure was just a rip-off of Killmonger's theme. It had that sort of
Fuck you.
But it was
No.
sort of
Now
like,
I'm gonna hate this fucking flick.
But instead, it was just like a and it was all mechanical sounding. But
They
just
just played it underwater and like, oh, that's
But that's
good.
the thing is, like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, this reminds me of Killmonger's theme, but just in the grinding electronic sound over a guy in what looked like a Power Rangers suit, like running through walls and shooting laser beams as Aquaman's like, dude, bro, what are you doing, bro? I was like, this is fucking amazing. This is beyond amazing.
Please tell me he actually says, what are you doing?
What are you doing, bro? No, he doesn't actually say that. You could have just peed on it. He does say that. But the only thing is, it would have been great. This made me sad that they've officially fired like Henry Cavill as Superman and Ben Affleck said as Batman, because now I'm like, I want to see this universe be crazy now, and I want the connection to having seen the actors.
You can do that without those two actors.
I think there's an undervalued connection to this having the same actor. Like, Superman can show up, but if it's not Henry Cavill, it's going to immediately slice those 3 movies we've seen him in already.
I didn't miss Katie Holmes in Dark Knight. That's all I'm going to say.
True, but it is a little jarring, though. I remember every time I watch Dark Knight, I'm like, it's kind of weird that it's a different... I don't see her as the same character. I see her as a different character, but named Rachel. It's not like there's that connection.
What about Terrence Howard and Cheadle and Iron
That's again the same thing. It's same with the Hulk too. It's like, I love the new what's his name? Ruffalo is the Hulk, but every time I'm like, yeah, it's just, I wish
the performances were different.
So different. Yeah. It's like a different character. But I just, as I was watching it, I thought how great, because it's such a comedy. It's like a fucking action comedy movie. It's like Lethal Weapon or something. There's one scene in, I think it's in Milan, or it's in an Italian city, where they're just busting everything up, of how great it would have been if Superman had just shown up and be like, you got this? And he's like, dude, I got this.
Yeah.
Like, all right. And then just flown away.
Yeah,
And
okay.
if it was Henry Cavill, that would have been amazing.
Almost like the Captain America cameo in Spider-Man. Okay, yeah, no, I don't know, but that'd be
keeping
good.
the same actors is, I think, undervalued, because it just creates that subconscious connection to, like, oh, this is like, I know this guy now. I've seen him in 3 movies, so I know this guy.
That's how they built like a decade of
Marvel
flicks.
movies. Yeah, exactly. Imagine if all of a sudden in Iron Man 3 it wasn't Robert Downey Jr. anymore. It wouldn't work.
Yeah,
or even any of the B characters, like even Black Widow wouldn't
Have they
work.
changed other than War Machine? There's got to be at least one, and Hulk.
I think it's just that's the only 2. I think everyone else was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll stay on this money
Because
train."
yeah, once that thing started, it's definitely after their Avengers, they were just like, "Oh yeah, I want in. I want in on this."
But even the smaller characters, like I couldn't even see Ant-Man being another actor, or Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow's another actress. I'd be like, that's weird. It creates a subconscious disconnect.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm sad now. After Aquaman, I'm like, I just want to see Henry Cavill show up and fucking make a joke and fly away. I want to see Ben Affleck be like, "What are you doing?" and then like swoop away.
If they pad up some other dude with a schlubby chin, you won't even notice
No.
it. They could CGI his head on there.
They should keep Henry Cavill. They should go back and apologize and grovel and keep fucking Henry Cavill, because he's the only one they've officially fired. And then the next time Batman shows up, he should never be out of costume. Just make a whole movie where Batman's Batman. Think of how many animated movies work like that.
I've been thinking about like why they still haven't just done a Batman does a crime over the course of one night. The 2 hours of the movie make up like 6 hours.
6 hours in the
night.
night.
I don't. It's so simple. I don't know why they haven't fucking done that yet.
That's what I always wanted to do. Was the set in 1939, the year the first Batman Detective Comics came out, and have it almost real time over one night. I thought would be awesome.
I always thought for me was the he would fight Slade, Deathstroke. Because I'm like, how cool would it be if like you just did a movie about like the first fight, he can't beat this guy. He's like matched. He's like, I have to spend the whole movie just trying to beat this one guy.
Trying to figure out how to get around it.
It's like the Warriors, but one-on-one. You know, it's just like I have to get this one. I have to get past this one guy.
They sank him though with his little cameo at the end of Justice League.
Don't remind me. That pissed me off.
Looks like only in a league of their own.
Slade's one of my favorite fucking characters. And I was like, are you serious?
It makes me laugh every time I go into a Toys R Us or a Walmart, and I always like swing by the toy section, because I'm always like, oh, if there's a neat thing, I'll get it and set it up on my drawer or dresser or whatever. And
which reminds me, sorry.
Well, there's
if you ever see a DeLorean, a fucking Micro Machines DeLorean, I've been coveting one.
I've been just interrupt myself for a second. Sorry. There's 2 things that I still have to complete my pantheon of nerd shit, and then I'm done, because I'm kind of done with all of the properties I loved as a child. They've all been driven to the ground, but I still don't have a 1989 Batwing, like an awesome die-cast Batwing, and I don't have a DeLorean or an Ecto-1.
Which DeLorean would you go with?
I go with the Part 2 DeLorean. With the
fold-down wheels.
With the fold-down wheels. Because the Part 1 has that big... The toy always has the big strapped thing on the hood. and then no, I'm sorry, the big
Rod coming out.
the rod coming out the back, and then part 3 has the big thing strapped on the hood from when they had
with
it
the
on the
white wall tires.
train station. Yeah. So I really always liked part 2. But I actually completely forgot what the fuck I was talking
you
about.
were going into Toys R Us because sometimes you buy stuff Slade.
There's always a wall. No, it wasn't Slade, because it just made me think of Jesse Eisenberg, because there's always a wall of Lex Luthor toys. There's always like at least 20.
Does that surprise you in the slightest?
But it's just so like what surprises me is the lack of forethought of the people who fucking made these
That's
toys.
the shocking thing, yeah.
Because it's just Jesse Eisenberg. There's nothing Lex Luthor about him. I almost bought everyone, including you, a Jesse Eisenberg action figure for Christmas. Because they're all down to like $5.
What's this? Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg.
You ever seen Social Network?
Yeah, it's essentially.
What's with his hair? Uh-oh.
No, it looks like American Ultra Jesse Eisenberg because he's got the long,
Oh, that's
the long,
right. That's
greasy hair.
right.
But yeah, Aquaman. Fuck, it's a total.
I'm intrigued. I'll bite.
No, you're gonna hate it, and then you're gonna curse me.
I'm just gonna wait till it's on video. There's no way I'm going to a theater. But then I can't see it in 3D.
You can't see it in 3D, and 3D is really good. But you want to make sure it's in like the top of the line 3D theaters.
See, that's a catch-22, dude. Because I don't want to fucking pay to see this thing in a theater, but I don't have a 3D TV. So.
It's not gonna. It's like the other side of the coin of Gravity, where Gravity's an amazing movie, but it really is elevated with the 3D. This is a schlocky shit show that I loved. But I think if I'd seen it on home video, I wouldn't have this opinion.
I'm wondering,
what do you think? The experience was just so fun.
Oh, okay. Because that explains my next question. I was going to ask, what do you think the odds are you're going to watch this like a year? You'd watch it a year from now. And like, this is a piece of shit. Like with a 3D TV at home.
Oh, if I could see it in theaters again, I'd probably love the experience again. If I watch it on anything less than a theater, I'm probably gonna fucking hate it. I think it's such a big dumb experience that I like. The second that an octopus was playing the drums, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is so stupid. And again, I've said this twice now, but I can't say how much it broke me to see crab people. We will fight you. They even kind of sounded like that. And
they look like men and walk like crabs.
Basically,
from what I've been told.
And there's like a giant like Lovecraftian Cthulhu monster thing at the end. This is so stupid. I love it.
You gotta admit, they're just like, listen, we can't leave the ocean.
Right.
So the planet's 80% water. So you know what? We're gonna make shit up. We don't give a fuck. Like we don't know what's down there.
I think the whole idea is that Atlantis thousands of years ago was above ground, but then they had technology beyond comprehension. And then like an earthquake or something happened, or they caused it themselves, maybe by mining or whatever, and Atlantis sank. And then Atlantis spread into 7 factions. So one faction.
Oh, I'm bored already.
Yeah, one faction went down, but it's all doled out slowly over the course of the movie. And one faction goes to the Marianas Trench and they become these like fucking fish monsters that look like they're straight out of like a Japanese horror film. And then one go and become like these beautiful avatar looking people. And then there's the normal humans. And then there's the crab people who are fucking awesome. And then there's Dolph Lundgren's race.
It's the start of fucking Black Panther about the 5 tribes forming Wakanda.
Yeah, pretty much. But except it's the opposite.
5. Oh,
the one tribe became 5. But unlike Black Panther, where it's just a bunch of different people in different like social groups, these things are like monster people, giant fish people. It's so stupid.
Why would they evolve to such
no reason whatsoever? Why would any of them?
Let's be honest. Human? We all know Mark fucked a crab. Crab people.
It's so stupid, but it's just don't watch it on home video. I guarantee you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is wrong with Chris Carson?" But if you get someone to be like, "Hey, you want half an edible?" and then go in and see it in like Ultra AVX 3D, you're just gonna be going,
dude. You know what? You know how it's gonna go down. I have to drag someone with me.
They're gonna hate you.
They're
gonna absolutely hate you. It's so stupid.
I don't know. I feel so ambivalent to this movie now. I'm like, do I want to see it? Do I not?
All right. No, it's tough. It's ridiculous. But
no, what will help? I'll just get drunk.
Actually, I don't know if drunk will make you like, yeah, fuck yeah, bro. Oh shit. Drunk will make you more like, hey, fuck yeah, bro.
Well, then I'll feel more in line with Jason Momoa.
Yeah, exactly. That's
He
what I was
likes to
gonna say.
drink and throw axes, so maybe I'll bring an axe and a pint of beer, and I'll grow my hair out and talk about how awesome it is being able to rape beautiful women on television. Jason Momoa.
Wait, he talked about how raping women on television?
It was footage of him at Comic-Con when you should drop the audio in so I don't sound like an asshole.
Okay, yeah.
But as far as sci-fi and fantasy, I love that genre. It's just that there's so many things you can do, like rip someone's tongue out of their throat and get away with it, and rape beautiful women. You know, Next question.
But it's he's at Comic-Con and he's just like, yeah, you know, Game of Thrones is a great experience. I'm gonna miss it. You know, I mean, who doesn't want to, you know, rape beautiful women on television? And you hear everyone just go, oh, and they all kind of back away from him. Like,
Well, I was just making a joke. I'm surprised I didn't destroy. See, that's the thing. He's a beautiful man. He doesn't get his career destroyed.
I know. That's exactly what I thought. That's Harvey Weinstein, get him the fuck out of here. He says that there's at least one woman, and let's be fair, I'm being generous by saying one woman who's just like, oh, he could have me.
Yeah, exactly. Let's not even use Harvey Weinstein because he's an actual monster. Let's just use fucking James Gunn, for example. Yeah, no, as long as it's becoming a world for attractive people. That's really weird.
All the beautiful people making
Anyways,
Aquaman.
Guys, we talked about Bird Box, we talked about Quiet Place, we talked about Aquaman.
We went from the darkness and bleak solidarity
To-
of the road to the fucking ridiculousness.
You not beat us, King Orm! Click, 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 click,
To
click.
the fucking bath salts hallucinogenic nightmare that is fucking.
If you're gonna see it, weary listeners, if you're gonna see it in the like Ultra AVX digital projection, 3D. Make sure it's crisp and clear and loud. Any other way of seeing it is you're gonna be like, what the fuck is wrong? Did Chris Carson have a stroke? Because it's just all about the experience.
This might be where you finally lose your last bastion of believers, and they're just like, this guy's full of shit.
Yeah. And I'm gonna get a whole bunch of new ones that I don't want.
Exactly. A bunch of people commenting, my man!
It's like we're gonna have to start becoming like a pro Doug Ford podcast. It's gonna be
Which reminds me. I don't...
None of the streets have been clean in Toronto. Thanks, Doug. Anyways, thanks, guys. Check us out. Are we good? We done?
We good, yeah, we good, yeah.
Check us out at spaceactionheroes.com. Like and subscribe. Share our shit. Love you for it. And we'll see you next week or next 2 weeks. Whenever we do another one, we'll see you. It's harder in the winter, easier in the summer. We'll see you for something big. Something big's got to come out soon.
Yeah, something big.
Yeah?
Because it's a lot harder in the way. Okay, fuck off.